This is day 627 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. This week's Arukh HaShulchan Yomi is sponsored for a full shlema for Yonasan Ezra ben Chana Feigl. Should have a full shlema very quickly. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. Be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman Shin Samach Hey Yud Ches to Shin Samach Vav Gimel. Yud Ches. Chem is by the Viram, but that has to be rose. Chem is by the Viram, Perkins 19 Lam Gimel Shkosam. Hazorgim Shusram Ben Abasim Chayev. Pass the rose created Shusiyachi. That's why if you throw something from Shusrami into that area, you're Chayev. The Raisa. Haviyash Chozavis is Zavis Mechitza Gemura. Yeshvagova. So it's in every corner there is a true wall, which is 10 tefachim high. Yeshvagova Dal Dal, and it's more than 4 by 4 tefachim, because it's an amma by an amma, which is 6 tefachim by 6 tefachim. By Rea Ribuan Nikarvanira, and the squareness is recognizable and perceived. Vinasa Koshim and Yoshusayach, everything in between them becomes Shusayach. I feel like you a bika, and even if they're an open valley, the ancient name bear, and there's no well between the pasim. Shebachol Ruach Ruach, pass me kan, still be Shusayach the rice because of the strip on each side, the 8 strips in the 4 corners. I feel you robbing bokim ben apasim. Many people would pass between the strips. Lo batom chitzis, the walls are not negated. But heke chatzeros, robbing bokim ben, they are like yards to which the masses go. That's that though they might be the rabbanon problem, the raisa they are considered to be shusiyachim. When somebody throws something into them, are liable. It's liable the raisa. Mutzal ashkos behemo b'nei mihoya b'nei bear. You're allowed to. Of an animal to drink there if there is a well there. Akal Lashono, end quote for the Rambam. The Zohar Hezbollah, the Avogad parts Merubah. I mean, even though there is more breach than structure, nevertheless it's Mechitza Doraisa. And that's why they said it's okay for pilgrims. Your test. Let's say there was, instead of these planks, which there was in each corner. Well, in one of the corners or each of the corners, a large stone, or elan, or a tree, or or a mound of the proper dimensions, or chavila shokanim, or a bundle of reeds. We look at it, koshili chalek, if you could divide it, even it's round, if you could divide it and square it off. Yesh amakan, go vasar, and you would end up with an ammo this way, ammo that way, to the height of 10 fachim. It has the same halacha of as if there were strips of wood there, as if there were planks there. And it has 2 pasim. So if you had a wall made of reeds, which are less than 3 tefachim apart, Ryan Koshi, I'm sorry. Put an ammo this side, ammo that side, kosher, it's also good. Mutakil pasim bear, you can put the pasim close to the bear. Vachate par rosh ruba, if named it, as long as you leave enough space between the pasim that a cow can fit with the head and most of its torso into the area of the pasim in order to drink. And that's what's the minimum amount, shtei amos. Excuse me. Look here, Rosh of Ruba Bifnim. If they had most of the torso of the animal not inside, or concerned that he might come to be drawn with his animal, holding onto the vessel, to give it to drink. It's going to take it to Shusrabim where it's more convenient. You can make the pasim as extensive as you want. But every 13 amos and a third, there has to be some sort of strip. It is considered to be enclosed for the purpose of habitation. If it's more than that, then you can put a pillar, a post in the middle of the side. To diminish the airspace. Said that it should not be 13 and a third amos in any specific place. And it could even be more than base sign. came in Shenachshavas Mukla Vladira, because possibly roast considered to be Mukla Vladira more than a karpaf in the middle of the journey. This is which a minimum of 2 amos. Zil afil begamos it's only even true by a camel with a long neck. Can't laugh at Shane shears there. Advice when you don't have these 2 amos in the enclosure. Also, you can't give to drink afilu gedi, even a young goat, a sheep. Which go already into 1 amo. Low plug rabban. They're making distinctions. Because Rabban never make these distinctions. Vachis Hashem Yusham, as Yusham says. Chiluk b'ashkos is over instead giving it to drink. Ben she'ochis akli below. Para, whether you're holding the vessel without the cow, or you're holding it with the cow. Ben she'enim ochis cloud, not holding either one of them. Low tar b'chos m'shir zeh. Does the minimum is 2 amos between the pasim. V'akomi down below plug because you don't differentiate. Lefik m'shir zeh chol also skirtzoyne. And within this measure, he can do whatever he wants. Feel like he can even hold on to the vessel and not to the para, not to the cow. She and says even though it could back out. We're not concerned they might take the vessel, that the animal's going to take the man is going to take the vessel and follow the animal. We explained it's been so long time to base to make this rock lily going to provide only it's only written for pilgrims. Obviously, the Daraisa doesn't come off. Daraisa shus yachid, but the practical lenience implying that is only in Eretz Yisrael when there were pilgrimages and they needed the water. For animals. But for a person, we wouldn't be making possibles. Let him go down with Tocha into the well, and he drink. But if the well is very large, but the person cannot go down into it, then he can actually draw up water and drink between the strips. Is only permitted for a fresh water well, in other words, when it's a spring which emanates in the ground. The sharabin that belongs to the masses. But a pit, a cistern, which belongs to many people. And the spring of an individual lotra doesn't work unless you have to have full blown mechitzas, 10 tefachim high, over Pesach with an opening can become mechitzas like all other forms of walls. Other in other countries, they had to pass the well, so just go down to the well and drink. If he does draw water outside, you need a wall. You need pass the well, not enough. You need the full walls and an opening. Like all other forms of walls. You filled up for your animal between the pasim. For now, and fill up and put in a vessel in front of it. Also be on or hold in your hand. Commotion bar as we have explained. If there was a trough with Sunnah Sarabim, Rosh Avos Nichol has been a pasim, and the head of the trough goes in between the pasim. The trough itself has the measurements of Rishus Yachid. Gavo Asar Baruch of Arba. It's 10 high and 4 wide. So it's of Rishus Yachid. Also, the miles Bekli Lena Rosh Avos. You're now still not allowed to take a vessel and put on over the top of the trough. The lochs be all don't hold in your hands. Because we're afraid that you might see the other man in the trough and that got ruined. You're going to go there with a bucket. Take up from Rishus Yachid into Rishus Rabim. This would be a chiv d'oraisa. Why? Because the initial akira was not for the purpose of taking outside the Rishus. But then we're afraid when you get out to Rishus Rabim, you're going to put the vessel down. And after you fix it, after you fix the trough, you bring it back in. Rather fill up the cleave, and spill it into the trough, as opposed to I'm not sure exactly what the difference is. You can't hold it in your hand, and you can't put it in your trough and by holding your hand. I guess you have to spill all at once. And if you want to give it the drink in the vessel and you're not going to hold the vessel in your hands, you have to put the vessel down immediately so they don't come to take it out. Spill out, put it down. That's clear for the Rashi. The Rambam bracket says here, Lav Davka, what they would say is not specific, but like we said, Sharei Simu, Ella Shofet Chapana, you pour it down in front of the animal. Chav Gimel, Chasav Rambam. Chatzah Shosh Echad Nechasav Bein Pasim. If you have a chatzah which goes into the Bein Pasim, Mutar Talim Tochel Bein Pasim, carry from the chatzah to the Bein Pasim. Bein Pasim is from between the Pasim to the chatzah. Hayish Techatzers, there are two chatzers, Asum Machiarvu. They have to make Erev with each other. Hakal Shalom. Klar meaning Imish Besa Beinem, if they have, they can make an Erev among the two of them, there's an opening between them. Cheino Gemara. That's what it says. Yesh Stopping Atil to Urak Masha Tzorech Lashkos HaBehema. We're not sure is the carrying which is then allowed only which is necessary to water the animal. Okay, but the behemai or since it's a minute from the animal, nasik gomer becomes like an absolute shayachin. Umutza tal the cold you carry anything. Be very vamash talks to show the tzorch behemas already going. From the middle of Celtic cities now become permissible for the animals of the pilgrims who chose the cold behemas. It's for all the animals. Ein sham. Come devers elobir. Nevertheless, he didn't explain this. Tzorch it's not clear. Chavdal Yom Shemayim b'Shabbos. So well went dry on Shabbos. Also, Talta Ben Apasim. Rabboni can't carry among the pasim, even though it's the right so. So Shumachitza b'Shamayim weren't considered to be upgraded to a rabbinically allowed wall unless there was water. That's the law meaning holy vutra hutra. We also say came mutter bar of Shabbos means utter. Mutter the enemies el mechitza gmuros. We only say with absolute walls. Now there's a deficit in the walls. If the water came into this pasim of Shabbos with the talta menan and carry the water among the pasim. Because this mechitza, even though it was made on Shabbos, because before you couldn't carry it in it because there was no water there. Nevertheless, the mechitza made on Shabbos considered mechitza v'hacha beheter naseis, especially where it's made in a permissible way. Shamayim bo meilen, because the waters came on their own into this area. Shin Sam Vav. Din Erev L'Chatzer Sharabim Dorim Bo. Erev for a Chatzer where many people live. Bayis Sheyesh Bo Shchenim Harbe. The house which has many neighbors. Each should give us his own room or his own apartment. Same principle. Chen Chatzer Yesh Bo Batim Harbe. A Chatzer which has many houses. Shekol Chadar Ba'is Matzo. Everybody that lives in their own house. Midin Torah Hu Shekol Mutar Metaltem Chatzer Batim Batim Chatzer. The Raisa you can carry from the house to the Chatzer or to a common vestibule and vice versa. Micheder Cherem from room to room. Michol Chatzer in an entire yard. They should say Alko Rishus HaYichidim. There's all the Rishus of individuals, the Rishus of Rabbi, not the Rishus of the public. So too an alley which has a street which has the post or a beam. The rice and carry in the entire Mavi. From the Mavi to the yards and to the houses. And vice versa. So to a city which is surrounded by a wall, which was made for the purpose of habitation. You can carry midrash in the entire city. As long as it has doors which are locked or suitably locked at night, or it says here, or suitable to lock the round commercial services in Zel din teira. This is now Dora Locha. Base, I'm also Shchem Tata Bashu Sheish Bar Chaluka B'Durim. Midrabanan, you're not allowed to carry an area in which there are divisions into separate abodes. Until all the neighbors become mixed and combined together from before Shabbos. They should all become mixed together through possession of one food. Which is leaving one of their houses. We're all mixed together. We all have one food, one dish we're partners in. That's all it's as if we all live in this room where the Erev is. None of us are distinct in separate rishus from their friends. And just like now we're all united in this place where the Erev is located. So too, we are now equal in the areas which are individualized. We're all one happy domain. The Dovers that Tik and Shlomo Beis, this is enacted by Shlomo and his court. The Shosh Tikna, when he made this enactment, the Basko of Amra, voice came out from heaven and said, "B'ni im chacham libcha, yismach libi gamani." If you have achieved this level of chachma in doing this takana, my heart also rejoices. And this says the end of Koheles. Koheles chacham, more than Koheles, who was King Shlomo, was wise. Oh, besides that, he balanced and he analyzed and he fixed. Shosas 9, the Zain Ligdash Shosas 9 Torah. He made ears for the Torah. Klomar meaning, he made fences, Sivos mitzvah Torah, or surrounding the mitzvah Torah, Kideshli for two ball protos, so that people should not make breaches in them. Ukshem Shekrami and Pardesim and Giginos, and just like vineyards and orchards and gardens, which stand in a place that people walk. Maybe imloyik the room if you don't fence them in bigdorim tovim with good fences. Your masuo sama over him, they'll be crushed or downtrodden by the people who pass by. The passers-by. Won't be any vestige left of them. If you don't make a gedorim, parameters around it, fences around them, so eventually it could become all null and void. As our eyes see v'shomos and hear, that the brazen ones of generation, she's clearly frozen gedorim, they started making breaches. Pritziador, Puritz gedorim, same idea. People who make breaches in the walls of the religion. Meshach Hazman, eventually lost in Torah. That's a person is very careful about the Rabbanans. And then this they said, words of the Rabbanan more precious than Torah words. And we have to stand in the breach for all the enactments. The Xeros and the decrees of Chazal, they shouldn't make even the slightest pirza breach in these halachos. So why? Why they make this takara? They shleito am yamus, so people should make this take and say, "Shem shutar lotzim nabais, ba'isam yuchad lechad." You can't just say you can't take out from the house. I'm sorry, just say you're allowed to take out from the house, which is designated for one person. The chatzah shrami yeshlem bacha, to the chatzah which many people have a portion. Michatzah l'rechov, and from the chatzah into a street ba'ir in the city, which is surrounded by a wall. Where everybody has a share. If you said that, just be allowed to take up just rabbin. Gam ato motim b'shus yuchal yachin shusam yuchal abem miyadam. What's the difference? Ultimately, it's also a shus which many people have a chelik in. So why, like the other one, should this not be mutter? Chen goes to Shlomo Shkol Shus Yachin Shalipo. Shalipo therefore Shlomo made a decree that any jurisdiction, any area where an individual has jurisdiction over it. Also, nevertheless, also you can't take out from that to jurisdiction of another person. Such as room to room, apartment to apartment for a large house. And so too from houses where each exercises jurisdiction on the chutzner of its house, and on its house, the chutzner of its house, the chutzner shkulim sholtim to a place where everybody has jurisdiction. And this applies also by streets and by cities surrounded by walls.